Good morning, happy Easter, happy WrestleMania Night 2, happy Sunday, whatever you want to call it today. It is a good day. Rob Van Dam is already smoking one. For all of them in the back, the Godfather probably has his nightclub open early today. It is a good day to be a wrestling fan. Fantastic action last night. Full day of sports yesterday on the TV, and we are going to give you all the lowdown on it. The Wiz is over there. I'm right here, Stephen A. 1181, and we are just ready to rock and or roll. But let's just get right into it. Let's do some stand and deliver. We might have, I put the little bat signal out in case anybody wants to join us. They might have people jump in here. Not sure. If they'd like to, they can. And we'll just get right into NXT Stand and Deliver. So, Greg, we had the women's tag team #1 contender match, and the two women we talked up that wouldn't win got the win. So they will face whoever wins tonight. As we saw, Bailey got injured, which sounds like it was the plan all along, but whatever. Now Lyra needs a partner for tonight to go against Liv and Raquel. I would assume Liv and Raquel win no matter who it's against, but you never know. Strange things have happened. But so Gigi and Tatum get the little victory, get the Duke, as Wade Barrett likes to call it, Greg. Pretty surprising result there, right?
Yeah. Didn't picture that coming. But, if they're ready, they're ready. And, give them a big stage to shine on. I'm not mad at it. They're a decent tag team, and the match was solid. So can't hate on it.
Yep. So they are going to get it on Tuesday night on NXT. A little night after Mania victory there. So we'll see what they do. Next up, the Tony Fumble chants were loud and proud during this match. Ricky Saints picks up the win. Not a big surprise there. Like we said, Greg, either Ethan Page gets called up after Mania, unless you want to wait till the draft. It is all about what Ethan Page can do on the main roster, correct?
100%. 100%. This is kind of passing the torch to the next, not generation, but the next man up, pretty much.
Yeah.
Presented one AEW, prospect up the ladder, and now the next one is in to take his place. Funny how that's working out, but they're good to go. They're good to go. So, looking forward to seeing what Ricky Saints is going to do in NXT, and even more so what Ethan Page is going to do on the main roster.
That's exactly what I think. I really want to see what kind of character they'll present with him. Kind of the presentation, does he kind of continue this manipulative, just, he looks like he smiles with the smile, Greg, but then he can kick your ass. So almost like a Dexter, not just a serial killer, an easygoing guy by day, serial killer at night. So I'm very interested and excited. And I almost think I would wait till the draft just so you can get everything kind of right with what you want to do with him. Don't call him up right away and, give him a couple wins, Greg, and then like, oh, crap, we, not really sure we want to do with you because we got other guys that we're doing stuff with. So,
it reminds me of The Miz.
Yeah.
Like another Miz 2.0 kind of. Just has that same time of smarmy attitude, but he can back it up.
He can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good, that could be a pairing to do just to kind of get him that exposure. I mean, looks like Carmelo might be doing his own thing now that he won the Andre and kind of see what he can do. But, I wouldn't mind a little pairing, then they both get sick of each other. I mean, the Miz is good for it. Miz can put anybody over pretty much. So I think that would be a good little starter feud for Ethan Page. This one, Greg, I should have pulled the damn trigger, shouldn't I? I kept going with the little caveat. It's NXT. This is one of those random tag teams that the people love, and it's clicking. So why not pull the trigger? And lo and behold, they do. But I also think that means we probably should see Fraxium up on the main roster. If you want to draft them together, I mean, maybe they come in and mess things up in that TLC match next week, Greg, and really put their name on something. So Hank and Tank, new NXT Tag Team Champions. And I think you were kind of sold on them after this match, were you not?
Yeah, I mean they earned a lot of respect from me after that match. That was a banger of a match, and I was not expecting much from them.
Hmm.
Um, Fraction has been together forever, and they've been shown that they are a solid tag team.
Hmm.
And like I said, this shows that me that they're ready for the main roster too. Throw
Yeah.
them in SmackDown in that mix with DIY and Street Profits and Machine Guns, and they fit right in. So, um, and Hank and Tank, it's taken me a while to get there with them, but that match did a lot, in my eyes, because I was, if I'm not on you from the beginning, doesn't mean that I won't get
Yeah.
there.
Of course.
So it's just showing it, keep showing it, keep showing it. And this match was levels above anything I've seen them do
Hmm.
from the moment they put them together. And to their credit, they've been together for a while,
Oh, yeah.
but they've always been kind of an ancillary team in the background and just there for the, um, the little
The skits and
vignettes backstage and the comedy and all that stuff. But they've had their slow build and they've been working well as a tag team. And this match was a next level match. So they definitely earned some respect from me, and I'll be watching them a lot more closely
yeah, and they
moving
gave the
forward.
little hug at the end, so I would assume that means yeah, we probably should move ahead with Fraxium. And
Hmm.
Hank and Tank, I think they were kind of on 2.0, NXT 2.0 back in the day. So this has been a slow burn for them, as they say, a very slow burn. But
Yeah.
next up, you called this one, Greg. Your girl Soul got the win. We got the Soul Snatcher.
Yeah.
Uh, just Thea got to touch it a couple times. Zarya was up there. Izzy got a few. Everybody got a few moments to shine in this one. But Sol Ruka, now she's also the WWE Speed Champion. So she's a double champion. Greg, watch out, Mandy Rose.
What?
Yeah.
It's great. I love it, and it's her time. Like I said, she's all the got the whole package as far as the looks, the in ring.
Mm.
Um, she doesn't say much on the microphone, but we can get to that later.
Hmm.
And but she just looks right with that belt on her shoulder and all the athleticism in the world. She's going to do big things. So she just hits for me. And that match was a great showcase for her. We knew somebody was getting that soul snatcher off the ladder, and she didn't hit it perfect, but it looked good. And then followed that up with a double soul snatcher to two other people at the same time. So it was, the perfect coordination for her. And let's see what she can do with that North American belt.
Another 2.0 holdover that we weren't really sure, if they kind of make it through. And lo and behold, she is just really getting over. And like you said, I think the main roster wise, could maybe get that Jeff Hardy type reaction when she hits that,
Yeah.
RKO type, just comes out of nowhere sometimes. So be interested to see what she does down there. And then, of course, if she does get the call up at some point, yeah. So
I give
next,
it another
oh,
year,
sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
another
I don't.
year for seasoning, and then there'll be a WrestleMania moment where she hits that soul snatcher on
Oh, yeah,
somebody
of course.
and wins the championship. I bet a whole paycheck on it.
Especially now that we have the U.S. title and the IC title for the women. I think that really opens it up for some women who might not be ready for world titles, and they can move them up the ladder, kind of like
Hmm.
we did back in the day. So,
Yeah.
and give you another pat on the back. You called this one too, right? You said Stacks might be the difference, and lo and behold, Stacks pulls the trigger on the crowbar. Tony, man, he kind of gave the tell, Greg, but he knew it was coming, and and lo and
Hmm.
behold, we're gonna break up. At least we might break up the family. We might kick out Tony and send him up for greener pastures, but who knows what this could do. So it was more about them than it was the Dark State picking up the win, even though we both called Dark State to win. But this is ultimately D'Angelo family falling apart at the seams, Greg, and now we'll see where things go for them.
Yeah, I mean, they've been building that fracture between
Yeah.
Stats and Tony for a while.
Hmm.
And, at this point, you can see it coming. It's Tony D's time to come on up
Hmm.
and, the underboss to take over. And that's what we got. The underboss was getting a lot more aggressive, making the call over Tony D's head and, not going with the game plan. And that's what's coming to fruition here. Wanted to go with the crowbar, and Tony said no. And
Hmm.
um, the little test of confidence to see if he was going to hit him with it, was a good move. So it did with a little okey doke. It's like, okay, maybe he's not going to turn on him. And then he does, just not
Yeah.
with a crowbar.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just the way I thought it was going to happen. And, Dark State gets over, and Tony D's ready to move up, and he's getting excommunicated from the family, and then we're going to see Stats as the new man in charge.
Yep. Do a little maybe no DQ, no nothing, and maybe it's a good way to write off Tony and like you said, like we said, get him right for the main roster or see where he can go from there. So this one did not main event, but man, Greg, I thought every woman looked good. Every
Hmm.
moment got their moments. I mean, like you said, yesterday, you could have pulled the trigger on any of these women, probably
Hmm.
winning, and it would have been okay after the showing. I think Jada really, I think, even stepped up her game, and the crowd
Yeah,
was getting her. I thought Jordan showing that power as she does. I mean, her suplexes were looking like ridiculously on point, and just the power she has, and the thought, she's not tall. I mean,
yeah,
she's and because you brought up China. China was tall and big and strong. Jordan
hmm
just is ridiculously strong with this, 5'2", 5'3", whatever she is, height. And that's what's crazy with her body. But and then Julia wasn't involved in the pin. You could still face Julia one on one and Stephanie one on one. You could still do Jordan, Stephanie one on one. So plenty of intrigue to go ahead. And Stephanie just keeps rolling. And she didn't look too happy with the acquisition of AAA, the new, or not new, sorry, the old, long time Mexican promotion. So that should be interesting to kind of see. We are going to get NXT AAA Worlds Collide in June. So we'll get our first taste of that, kind of partnership or, well, actually ownership, Greg. Sorry. The Kingo, we saw him last night. So should be interesting to see some names pop up from AAA onto NXT and wherever else. So, but really solid match. I thought this should have main event. It did not, but I still think the women stole the show again, Greg. Between this and the ladder match, I mean, the women are really. Shawn Michaels loves those women down there, doesn't he?
yeah. I mean, the women are putting in work. They are so good, and they're more over than a lot of the men.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This match was a banger, and great points about Jordan Grace because she
Hmm.
doesn't look big on TV. Barely she isn't big, 5'2", 5'3", but she's still
Hmm.
holding two women taller than her,
Yeah.
probably on her shoulders,
Hmm.
and doing like a double fall away slam. Just amazing what she can do. Um, I've had very little exposure to her beyond what I've seen on NXT so far,
Hmm.
but I'm more impressed every time I see her. She showed out. Jada Parker showed out. Like I said, everybody showed out. But props to you. You nailed it. Stephanie retains, but that's going to set up some great singles matches. We have still haven't seen Stephanie versus Jordan one on one.
Yep.
We need to see the rematch with Julia one on one,
Hmm.
and then
If you want to do
Jada
her,
Parker.
Jada,
She's going to
yeah.
get her shot. So we're just going to run the whole gauntlet
Yep.
with all three and see how that turns out. Maybe they think Stephanie's ready to come up and get drafted
Yep.
later. So that's all a possibility. And these three women are the great choices for our next woman up.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I wouldn't be I wouldn't care or wouldn't be mad if you fast track Jordan, got her on the main roster, let her mixed up with. But you could just tell
Hmm.
she really loves her time down there. So, I might not be surprised if she wants to stay down there, and do her thing down there. But I think Julia or Stephanie are pretty much good to go. Give them a little more work down there, and either one could get the call up and fit right in with the women up there. So. And finally, Oba Femi, continues his rule the world. I mean, this guy just has a presence, Greg. I mean, the crowd loves him. No money. What is it? No water. Just
no
me.
bread, no water.
Booker T, Greg, was on one yesterday. Oh my God.
Yes, he was.
And the crowd sign that had the and I was like, oh my gosh. And then his last I'm like, okay, come on, Booker.
I know, like 30 seconds. It was great.
Oh man. So
you gotta love it.
The meat is heavy with this one. And like I said, I think you call up Trick, and I don't know who's gonna beat Oba. I mean, I do still think the story's there, David and Goliath, Greg, but you might need a little more work. Might need to start back with Javon and work his way back up. Kind of through the ranks. But right now, there's nobody there to even match up with Oba, is there?
No, unless you're going to try to cross over some more TNA talent.
Yeah.
I mean, the Moose match was a banger, but
yeah, I feel like you could have saved the Moose match for this.
Yeah,
and really let that be a big moment there. But yeah, I don't know. And even in TNA, like I guess you could maybe do Joe Hendry, and you just have the champion versus champion with no titles on the line, just whoever's the better champion. Because I don't want any more. We don't necessarily need a TNA NXT champion, but and even Joe Hendry, doesn't necessarily look the part to fit, to go up against Oba.
No.
So
yeah, I think the next man is going to be Javon, but we're gonna take the Jey Uso route with him. He's already taken a couple pins to Oba, and like I said, he's gonna have to work his way back up. But I was so impressed. That guy is so smooth. Holy crap. I mean, the stuff he was doing and just looking effortless.
Yeah.
And that was some difficult stuff he was doing. He making it look perfect. I was already impressed with Javon Evans, and I'm even more impressed now. The guy, every time I see him, just gets better and better and better. And the bigger the match is, the better he is. The way he moved through that match in between the two behemoths between him, he was just outstanding. He was the star of the night for me. And I wish kind of that he had pinned Trick instead of Javon, so you'd have him able to say he didn't beat me, but maybe that's more for the underdog story, that he's already taken a couple pins to Oba, and now he's got to, earn it again. So the story's there.
Sorry. Could you give Trick one more shot too and be like, hey, this is your last chance? The whole while I'm champion clause, you can't challenge again, and maybe that's a way to Trick loses and he has to, move on to something else. But
well, either that or we do this brand's not big enough for the both of us, and have a loser leaves town match.
We really haven't done. I mean, we keep saying we want one, and I feel like we haven't officially done one. So that could be a good, put some stipulations on it, and let Trick, and even if you do it on NXT TV, I mean, what better way to book an NXT TV, event? So
yeah, because what reason does Oba have to want to give him another title?
Exactly.
He's like, right. I've already beat you once, twice, 3 times. I'm tired of you, and we're gonna do this again. Then if I win, you're out of here. So that's enough incentive for him to want to do it. So I think that's a good route.
All right. Well, that was NXT Stand and Deliver. Now let's get into it, Greg. Night 1 results. Jey Uso with the ridiculously awesome entrance. That thing was cooking all cylinder. He got to come through the crowd, got to leave through the crowd, Greg, and he is only the second person ever, that's right, Greg, to make Gunther tap out. Dragunov did it in UK, and now Jey Uso. The only nitpicking thing I would have is, Gunther did tap out quick, but that also could have been, just the really put over Jey. And, that this shows what Gunther really means to WWE, I think, because you had him tap out that quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, you really and both. I really there was a few moments, Greg. I'm like, oh, they might just let Gunther retain, and we might, have to move on from Jey Uso. But ultimately, the crowd really loved it. People are, they're saying there's 16,000 dislikes on the YouTube page, Greg, but I just go by the reaction in the crowd.
Yeah.
You go by the, and the celebration of people behind the scenes. Jey Uso, is the guy right now. So Jay gets the win, makes him tap out. You know, that just is definitely a sign that it's time for Jay to really see what he can do as champion. And it might be it might be a short run, Greg. It might be a long run. That's the thing. I think I don't know. Like
Mhm.
which direction will it go? But I think that's also the good thing, just because we can kind of see where it goes. And the big story will be, where does Gunther go? Because, like we said, 70% chance, 70% he was champion. Now he's not going to be champion. It's going to be very interesting to see where he can be placed and positioned. But congrats to Jey Uso. Worked his butt off. He was drunk as hell in his thing in his press conference, as we saw, and we're off and running in Jey Uso title run.
Oh yeah. Yeet. You
Yeet.
gotta give it to him. And you know me, I'm a Gunther guy through and through. But this match was an awesome match. Great way to start the night.
Mhm.
Um, and this win does worlds of good for Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Um, because beating somebody who's pretty much been champion his entire career in WWE
Yeah.
is a huge step. Being able to tap him out, like I said, being only the second person to ever do that,
Mhm.
um, wholly unexpected. Um,
Mhm.
and now it it gives. I think it would be a great thing to use that sleeper as another finishing hold.
Could be.
Because
Yep.
if you can tap out Gunther that fast with
Mhm.
that move, then you should keep it. Um, and I like the setup, 3 Uso splashes onto him before you put it on.
Mhm.
And that way you can present it like, okay, I knocked the wind out of him, now I'm going to choke him out.
Yeah.
So that's, because right now all he's got is the splash, and this is the way to add a move for, you know, a, a ground and pound type move, submission move. He doesn't have a submission move in his arsenal, I don't think. And he made Gunther tap out with it very quickly, so that adds to the strength of his move and the legitimacy of it. So I think he should keep that and keep using it in his next title defenses and establish that, as well as Uso Splash, because it seems like every champ has a good 2 moves that they can go to get a win. Like Punk has the Anaconda device and the GTS.
Yeah.
Every, you know, the top of the top have 2 moves that they can rely on. Roman's has the spear and that bulldog choke and the guillotine.
Yeah. The guillotine.
So, um, so I think this is a great second finisher to add to his arsenal. Um, and like I said, that crowd reaction was off the chart. Everybody blew up, and everybody was down with it. So I can imagine it would have 16,000 dislikes. I mean, what's there not to like about it?
Yeah.
So I guess just the Gunther loyalists may not be down, but that match was worthy of a title change. Loved it. No bad things to say about it.
And I mean, and Jey Uso and Jimmy both had the stigma of, you guys are just a tag team. Yes, you're one of the best, one of the greatest, but you're just a tag team. And to overcome all of that, I mean, I don't know how people could not get behind that idea. I mean, Shawn Michaels, it worked for him. Bret Hart was a tag team guy for all those years. So Stone Cold was a tag team with Brian Pillman.
Mhm.
It's not like it's just been in wrestling forever. So it's just weird that and yes, we are a nitpicky, I will say, wrestling fandom now, so that could be why they kind of went that direction. New Day wins, and New Day, wins again, Greg. They held down the War Raiders' leg. Not a bad match, not a great match. I think they were trying. I think the placement of this match probably didn't work well because you had the banger in the beginning, and then you got to follow that up, Greg.
Yeah.
And that's a hard, because I think a lot, like you said, a lot of people aren't necessarily like even, Eric was like, or Ivar was trying to get the war chance going, Greg, and there
Yeah.
was like a smattering of them, and like we said, I still think without Big E kind of even involved in some way, it just doesn't have this, I mean, I was hoping Sean's prediction. I'm like, okay, they're going up the ramp. This is a long shot. Come on, give me the Hardy Boys. Give me something. Give me Big
Right.
E out there. And it just kind of was like, okay. And then they go to the back. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, that happened.
I mean, it just, yeah.
I knew the New Day would win, and now I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do, what they're going to say in the ring with the titles on their shoulders, and now we're going to pop off with who the next team up is, and that's hopefully somebody we can get excited about. If Big E pops out or comes out, the whole place is going to go nuts. But it opens a lot of doors, and better doors than if the War Raiders were still carrying it, because I think their run was pretty unspectacular, and giving them the belts is just kind of a achievement award, or a thing for working so hard to come back and add to the talent pool. But nice little run, but now give it to the team that been there, done that, and continuously levels up when they have the belts on their shoulders. So I'm so excited to see what New Day is going to do with them.
And I will give that credit. Like, okay, now what do you do next? So, yeah, it was needed to change. They needed to get them the titles, but the match was a match.
Yeah.
What about this one, Greg? I'll let you kind of have at it first. Jade gets the win. I called that at the beginning. I thought Jade looked really impressive, but I'll let you give your thoughts.
Yeah, it was decent. I mean, I'm still down with Naomi, and I think if we were scoring this match on points, she won the match. She was pretty much a step ahead of Jade most of the match. The new persona is working for me, and the new attitude, the glare, not being so smiley and playing to the crowd, is working for her. And she shows she can go at Jade. So somebody much bigger, much stronger, much more powerful. But it was a good back and forth match that I thought, like I said, that Naomi was ahead. This was a draw, and they had to choose a winner. But Jade gets her revenge, and we can see what they want to do from here. Involve Bianca, or just pivot Jade, completely different direction now that she's got her payback. Is that enough payback? So I guess we'll find that out soon.
I think and that's the biggest thing. I think we need Bianca involved in this, and that's really going to take the story to the next level.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think people are getting behind Naomi, but I still feel like we need to know what Bianca's role is in it, and that ultimately will either, push this to a next level, or maybe it brings it down, Greg, because Bianca might be the one to overcome Jade when it's all said and done. Just because she could be the mastermind behind all of it, and that could just level up Bianca either in another level and might overshadow what Jade or what Naomi's doing. So it should be interesting to see, but I still think there's there's layers we haven't unpeeled yet, as they say. So.
Yeah, Jade's just not very likable for me.
You think? Yeah, I mean it's probably like, is it the Charlotte Flair thing. Like you see the strength, you see the power. I guess it's hard to buy her as a baby face.
Yeah, and maybe that, and I don't think we've ever seen her crack a smile, or she just always has that resting
Yeah,
bee face
yeah,
on, and she always looks angry, and she presents herself that way, even when she's not technically a heel.
yeah.
So she just always has that aura, that presence about her, and we saw her at AEW. She radiates that too. She's never successfully pulled off being a baby face.
Yeah.
Um, so she doesn't come across as a likable character for me. So that's a world of character work that she's going to have to get on if she wants to do that. But she does present herself as another Charlotte.
And I think that's why that's why I think I do want a stronger heel to go up against her to see if they can push her over the edge as a face. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, Fatu, I love you, Jacob. And that was this match. This might have been close to the main event, like in I think the BFT from the top rope or second rope, whatever it
Yeah.
was. I thought all the wheels were working here. And LA Knight with the ridiculously Maserati entrance. I was hoping he'd be the driver, Greg. He could pull John Cena light, where John Cena made the WrestleMania Detroit entrance. But yeah, this is a really good match for both guys. I don't think he kept saying LA Knight's going to be hurt by it because I think LA Knight showed exactly why he could be in any feud anywhere and he'll deliver. But it was all about Jacob. It was all about Fatu time.
Yeah, this is an outstanding match, and I'm so happy for LA Knight to all the blood, sweat, and tears, 20 years of hard work, and finally
Prison.
got to the big show. And it looks like $1,000,000, like you said he is. He shined, and even in losing the title, he still looked great. This match was a banger. That BFT, as Jacob was diving to him, was awesome. And so we got to, give him love for that. And he can hang with Jacob. So this just shows, they're on that level.
Yeah.
But this was Jacob's moment. I'm so happy for Jacob too, because he's probably, I want to say rookie of the year, because he's been around for a while, but immediate
Rookie to
impact.
WWE.
Yeah, rookie in WWE terms. He's
Yeah.
been here for maybe a year now, but so good, so undeniable. You had to get it to him, and he's deserved it. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do with the belt now. So, no hate on him. I love Jacob, love LA Knight. I think they're both still going to be set up for big things.
And like we said, I think this Friday you have Solo ask for the title, and boom,
Yep.
Jacob delivers a whatever his finishing move is, and then boom, you're off and running. Give a little Jacob a solo action. So. El Grande Americano defeats Rey Fenix at WrestleMania, Greg. That happened. And what's crazy is I don't think I hate it, because I was wondering if there was more legs. I thought maybe they were cutting off the legs of this already. I guess we're not. Now, I hope he doesn't do it. Luckily the NXT AAA thing is like NXT things, Greg. So I would hate for El Grande Americano to be involved in that, because I do think that would be making a mockery of it. But hey, Rey Fenix still got the payday, still gets a show out. He lost some of his WrestleMania debut. I mean, I don't know if there's much, you still got to debut 2 weeks after, Greg. Like, that's still saying a lot. But man, I guess we're still going with El Grande as a thing.
Hey, me, I'm such a huge Ray Phoenix fan, and
Yeah.
I hated seeing him take this L, but I can accept it because Chad Gable and this month, or is it Chad Gable,
Mhm.
doing the whole El Grande Americano is just it's been money, and at first I was going to hate it, but um, no, like Chad Gable makes everything work from
Yeah.
Shorty G all the way up to now. He's made everything, every steaming pile of crap that they've fed him and made it into just genius. He's like another Jericho,
Yeah.
um, and I like the way it plays out, and that it's got some legs. I loved his entrance. His entrance was awesome. Um, that entrance was money for me,
Yeah.
and Triple H is signing off on it. So we're gonna keep this moving, and I can definitely see Ray Phoenix getting his payback at Backlash because now we've established a story. We've
Mhm.
made the plate in the head
Yeah.
um, a recurring thing, and getting the payback for it is going to be um, even better once they do it. So I'm looking forward to letting this play out a little bit longer, so I can let Ray Phoenix losing his debut in WrestleMania let that slide because he's going to have a lot more WrestleMania matches moving forward. So this is still a banger of a match, and I'm excited to see what else they're going to throw into this. We're obviously adding all the luchadors in there, and there's going to be some exciting matches because Gable shows that he can go with them, and everybody looks great. This is an awesome match. Um, so I'll save my AAA comments
Yeah.
for
Another.
for a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I think about this match. Great match. They didn't
Vikingo,
win
and
it, but
did you
I
think
get it.
Vikingo was going to turn on Ray? That's the way they were making it look like. I thought, Greg, because they came in the ring to help him up. I'm like, well, here we go. We're going to already get Vikingo and Ray
Yeah, it
Phoenix
looked like
feud.
it.
So,
I was like, don't do it, don't do it.
and then, like I said, maybe we were going to do the old restart the match. Maybe Vikingo could have been the one to say, "Hey, I saw the metal plate." But yeah, like you said, I guess we'll wait. We'll, as The Rock says, enjoy the ride while it goes.
Yeah.
So El Grande Americano from the Gulf of Mexico due to a clerical error. So, um, it's toothy hurt time, Greg, because Tiffany got her lumps in this match, didn't she? Charlotte wasn't playing around with some of the shots she gave her. So, little busted lip, little tooth action, little bruise on the head, a little clunky at times. I still think the right winner won, though. And you even had Charlotte give her the little head nod at the end, Greg. And I think that's the only match we're going to get of them for now. Maybe down the road we might revisit it, but I called Tiffany winning. We did have three new champions, so you probably needed to give some champions retaining, but um, not a bad match. Yet another not spectacular. I thought both women. I don't know. It just felt like maybe there was some pressure on both of them that they were feeling because it felt like they were just kind of slow to move to things, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then you can just get two people who don't mix
Right.
well in the ring, um, in the same place at the same time. And I get it.
Mhm.
Um, Not everybody is a perfect fit for each other. This looks like it could have been dream match status, and it was anything but.
Yeah.
So, it was I give it a C. It was good in places and it was bad in places. So I'll level them out at average.
Mhm.
The right person did win. Um, Having Tiffany be able to say I beat Charlotte at WrestleMania is going to go a long way for the rest of her career
Yeah.
because one day Charlotte's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and Tiffany's just getting started, but 25 years old, so
Mhm.
um, she's can end up being Charlotte in another 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So um, for what it was fine. Like the right person won,
Mhm.
and it was the match. So, everybody's, it can't all be, 5-star bangers all the time. So it'll get better for both of them moving on.
Yep. But OMG, OMFNG, all the cinema, the Martin Scorsese GIF that people love, Greg. This had, I think, everything you want in a match, right? I mean, the story was there, the work was there, the characters were there, the story was there. I mean, everything was clicking in this match. And Paul Heyman, I don't know if he likes to. He was going deep on those low blows,
Yeah.
especially the one with Roman. I think he was trying to cop a little extra feel on that, but I called it great, and I got to give credit to people because they were seeing this before me. But I was like, hey, I'll jump on the train. CM Punk got the entrance, got the last out, got to come out with, Paul Heyman got Living Color to play him out, Greg, and didn't have to eat the L. So I call that a win for him, right?
Right.
I mean, it even got the last, Seth made his way out, Roman made his way out, and CM Punk got to be the last person out of the ring as the show was going off the air, or after off the air. Sorry. CM Punk was still there in the ring, Greg, taking it all in. Lots of twists and turns, but Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins together, Greg, that is going to be, I think we were waiting for Seth Rollins to kind of find his mojo again, right? He kind of, he's been an ancillary character. Now he's going to level back up. This might be the 2018, 2019 Seth where I feel like everything he was kind of before the knee injury, where everything he was doing was just clicking. And now that he has Heyman and, yet again, people are running with, is this the last we've seen of Seth Rollins today or last night, Greg? Because, does The Rock need somebody on TV every week? But that if that's the case, I would feel like he need to be champion. But that's a whole nother conversation till we get to that part. So everything, man. And when we finally do Seth and Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania, Greg, just, what they say, take the money.
Right.
That thing. And, if we could get the last piece of that puzzle in there, whoo.
Yeah, I agree. This was a great match from physicality standpoint, from the storyline standpoint, from all the moving parts. Paul Heyman doing Paul Heyman things. Best match of the night, easily. Just high impact, and everybody, got their shine. And I saw, you could tell one swerve was coming, but didn't expect two.
Two
So,
swerves a month. Yeah, that's a.
when he betrayed Punk, it was like, okay, it was kind of feeling that. But when he got Roman 2, I was like, okay. It's and kind of been thinking that, Seth is probably have more invested than we can see. And I was thinking maybe that, the favor would be that, he uses Paul to get a title shot or whatever, but not that he joins up with him
Get him in his
at
back
the end of the
pocket.
match.
That's a favor
Right.
and a half and two.
Exactly. It played out perfectly. Love the match. I wonder if Roman is okay, because it looked like he got hurt right at the beginning of the match. And
He was
I
holding
saw,
the arm a lot, wasn't? Or yeah. And Jay was doing
holding the
the same
quad.
thing. What's going on with the arms?
and a little, in a few spots during the match, it looked like he was, hobbled a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if he had a legitimate injury, and it was right at the beginning of the match. Like, this is going to suck if he's
And Punk
truly
and
hurt.
Seth were in the crowd for a few minutes, so you wonder if that was good to buy him that time to
Yeah.
kind of see where he was at with it.
Right. So I want to see what this Paul Seth thing is going to look like. I think it's money. Um, I hope this pivots Seth out of this whole revolutionary, visionary mindset and gets
Yeah.
them on another path. The crazy outfits and all that stuff. Uh, Here's where the rubber really meets the road: is you're going to change that stupid song because that's
You
going to
can't have
tell
the
a
crowd
whole
singing along
different.
with it. Yeah.
That's a whole different shift in in character and presentation when you do that. If
Hmm.
you take that away, that's going to get you instant heat.
Yeah.
So if that's what he wants, then change that song, go to something different, maybe an older song or just something altogether new. Um, so I'm curious to see how that's going to look. He's going to come out in a suit, like I said, he's going to be corporate and be part of the Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock's what he's trying to do and have somebody's soul in his pocket
Hmm.
at all times. So just too many juicy storylines to see what happens next. What's Punk going to say? Because he's going to be pissed off, and then what's Roman going to do? Just everything gets better from here. So uh, awesome match, and now we've got three things to watch.
Hmm.
That's going to be equally compelling, especially when they start running these three pieces back into each other
Yeah.
one on one.
Hmm. Yeah. I just couldn't like it exceeded expectations almost. You knew these guys were going to deliver, but man, I mean, they really laid it out there and just gave you everything that they could. And because it's three guys that just wanted to prove, hey, night two, follow this. Like
Yeah,
Cena and Rhodes now have to go and outperform it. If they, or else you could be like, hey, that was a real main event. So, all right, let's get
yeah.
into some predictions real quick. Io Sky, Women's World Champion, Bianca Belair, Challenger, Rhea Ripley, Challenger. Greg, I'm going to call it Io Sky for the win. I just feel like she's been the side character, and if we want to legitimize her, yes, she had the title before Greg, but her beating a triple threat and winning a triple threat between these two women, that let's face it, are a step above her. Greg, I know she's champion, but Rhea's Rhea. Like we said, she's got the
Mhm.
fans in her back pocket. She could do a signing at a 7-Eleven and probably be sold out in 10 minutes,
Yep.
and Bianca is getting the booze. So now it's interesting to see, like we said, where we pivot with her because I think you got to embrace that. Let Bianca start
Hmm.
figuring out what to do with that stuff. And that's why I kind of leave with Io Sky. Hey, let her pin one of the two and see where and then let her run things on Raw. Rhea and Bianca go where they need to go, and we're off and running. So, which direction are you going, Greg?
Yeah, I love all three of these women.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been following Bianca since NXT,
Hmm.
Rhea since she walked through the door, and same thing with EO.
Yeah.
Just their track record is spotless. They bring it and they deliver every time out.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, I'm not a fan of the way they got here with the triple threats, but this is about getting the best on the card, and this is the best way to do it.
Hmm.
So I forgive that part, but I agree with you that you got to put some respect on Io's name, and Rhea and Bianca have surpassed Io as far as popularity
Oh,
goes and attention goes, but she is equally gifted as they are, and this is going to be the showcase where she can prove that.
yeah. Hmm.
So, um, the size and power of Bianca and Ripley kind of cancel each other out. Got to lean into that heel persona for Bianca because she can do it. I think she's um, avoided it because her impact on the little girls and all that stuff. But she can be heel with the best of them. So I think one or both of them ends up going heel, and so I still think that Rhea needs a makeover a bit. That she's less Judgment Day, but apparently the golf look is the look she wants. So it is what it is. She wants to go with that. All good, but I think we definitely should see what Bianca can do on the dark side. But this is where we elevate Io by having her win this match and put her on the level, perception-wise, as Rhea and Bianca are. Because we, the fans see her as equals, but the casual fan may not, because there's more star power with Rhea and Bianca. But Io is just as good. So Io for the win for me officially.
AJ Styles for the win. I think Logan Paul holds his own though, and we probably see maybe we see a pulverizer countered into a oh my gosh, Styles Clash. Sorry, had a little brain freeze. AJ Styles for the win, but I still think they're going to put we keep I've said it many times, Greg. Logan Paul delivers when he needs to though.
And I hate to admit that, because I don't like him. He has a face you want to see punched.
Punchable face.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm going the other way. What's going to make him more insufferable than saying I've won at WrestleMania over AJ Styles? And there's always room for AJ to get it back, but he is that polarizing guy, but it seems like everybody hates him, and we agree with the rest of the locker room. You don't belong here, and go back to YouTube where you belong. And little by little, his game has gone up every match, and he gets better and better. I mean, even his match with Roman, when he was had 3 matches under his belt, was still an outstanding match. So he keeps getting better. I have to acknowledge that. He keeps getting better, and I have no doubt that this match is going to be an excellent match, partially because you have AJ to carry it and help him through it, but his athleticism is more impressive than I thought. The boxing had me fooled because, he's fighting tomato cans, so that really doesn't impress me much. But when you come into the WWE world, you're talking about a whole different level. And he's been able to hold his own with the best of the best. And I think this is going to be a banger. And I think that he's going to, find some way to underhanded cheat the win. And then he's going to come out and he's going to make himself even more insufferable when he picks up that microphone and starts gloating about his WrestleMania win. So, and that's only going to feed money into the machine, and it'll be good. So, as much as I hate to say it, I think that Logan gets his first WrestleMania win.
All right, next up, Penta. Give me Penta. Give me the Penta story. I think if we see Finn and Dominic, maybe that starts to blow up here. Maybe it doesn't, but I think if you want to start it here, that's fine. But this is all about Penta. He can get one up on his brother by winning his WrestleMania debut, Greg. But this is all Penta for me. Which direction would you like to go?
Yeah, me, I'm a Penta guy through and through, and I love him for Braun because he's earned his way in to this spot. Being in the big, coming in with the title, and he's got huge support, and dogs are barking when he comes out. So I'm loving what they're doing with him. I'm a huge fan of Braun, but give me my guy Penta all the way. He's going to be around for a long time, and give me that Braun Penta rivalry, that back and forth, and maybe they hot potato the belt once or twice, but give me Penta and his WrestleMania moment with the belt tonight.
Next up, Damian versus Drew. Drew all the way. It says a lot, Greg, that they legit have no picture for it.
Yeah, that tells you all you need to know right there. Drew all the way. Next question.
Okay. Who's going to be Lyra's partner?
Oh, the names I've been throwing out.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. You know who I want.
Who are you going to give us the official prediction of who will be the partner? There's definitely an obvious choice.
Yes. I'm gonna pull the trigger on Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
They have a history. When Becky went down to NXT, Lyra was her opponent,
Mm-hmm.
and they had an awesome match. So they had that respect between each other, and she would be a great person to come back and
Do they
have
win?
her.
I mean, I would hate to put Becky in there only to
To
lose.
Right. So unless he's going to come back
Turn
as a
heel?
heel,
Yeah.
and then they lose the match and she takes it out on Lyra,
Mm-hmm.
and shows that she's a heel still. That's the only reason she would lose the match. So if Becky comes back, they win championships.
Okay. I'm gonna
So
say
that's my official prediction. It's Becky Lynch, but I would rather it be Paige.
Oh, okay. I thought about that. I was gonna say I mean there's only one person. Chelsea Green needs to be on this freaking card, but it's Becky Lynch. It's her pulling the trigger saying I'm never gonna be back anytime soon. That seems like a red herring and a half, Greg. She just did that a couple nights ago. And Becky and Lyra have the history. So people are running with Bailey, go to AW, blah, blah, blah. But Bailey is not leaving where her bread has been buttered for a decade now, Greg. I mean, Bailey. She's going to do what needs to be done. So I feel bad for Bailey having to, get off the card, but Bailey will be fine. And I do think I think ultimately it'll be Becky. And then, like you said, either Becky heel turn or they win. I don't think there's any in between. They lose and they move on. Well, what was the point? Because you could have just kept Bailey in that spot. So
what was the story with Bailey? Did you hear
it? She got taken out backstage.
Okay.
The rumors are that this is the plan all along, but I kind of wonder if maybe Becky might have got that itch, in the last week or so. Greg is like, hey, but that seems to make the only that seems to be in the most logical sense. But hey, just for shits and giggles, I would love to see Chelsea Green make an entrance with her Hervis, and even if we could get a first gentleman on there, Greg, somehow, I mean, that would just be all the fun business. But
I can forgive Matt Cardona coming back.
Yeah.
And being part of the secret Hervis. Just fill out the cabinet, put the first man in there. Yeah. I get it. So it would be funny from that point, and he's good at doing comic characters. I do have new respect for Matt Cardona after leaving do the GCW route. So I wouldn't hate it as much as I would have.
A way to come back at WrestleMania. I mean, what better way? So that'd be bigger than Rumble. But Greg, main event night 2, main event John Cena going for 17. Cody Rhodes, quarterback number 1. Which direction are you going, Greg?
I have never been more interested in John Cena than I am right now. There have been some great rivalries. He's been there for the best of the best, and there's been times I've been more invested in him than others, but he's always been kind of the company man and everything they accuse Cody of now.
Yeah.
And he was just, not as. I think I just saw so much of him, winning all the time. I got numb to it, and didn't appreciate how special it was. even though I did appreciate the matches and enjoyed the rivalries and things like that, he was still never on my list of favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
But now, since the heel turn, and his presentation, his promos, just seeing him, back to the mean mugging and, just hitting everybody with facts. I'm loving the new presentation, the threat of I'm going to win the title and I'm going to leave. You guys are never going to see this belt again. It it adds that danger, that threat level, because even though before he came back, he'd been losing match after match, putting everybody else over. That old John Cena that won every match for years and years and years. It seems like that dude can come back. So it seems like Cody's the underdog in his own match a little bit. We want Cody to win. We want evil John Cena to be vanquished, but I think John Cena's going to win. Just because it's too juicy not to. And this being from a man who's my favorite wrestler of all time, okay, I'll say the second favorite wrestler of all time is Ric Flair. And I don't want to see anybody surpass his championship title reign. And here John Cena ties it, because this will be number 16, right? So, but the story is just too juicy. History is written by the winners, but the villains are the ones who tell the story. And John Cena's laying it out. And he's telling the story, and that worry of, okay, he won. What's going to happen now? Is he going to go through, and how's Cody going to overcome it? So there's still room for all that. But, Cody wins. Okay, another threat vanquished, and there's a lot of juice in this left in the squeeze to not do it. So, I just kind of like seeing the bad guys win sometimes. So, just give me heel Cena taking the win, and then let me see those promo
this
battles.
Would break the record
see how
tonight.
What?
This would break the record because he's tied with Ric Flair right now.
Okay, I didn't remember if this ties the record or breaks the record.
Yep.
Okay, so that's even more reason I don't want him to win. Like I said, like Ric Flair being the A1 champ.
I was gonna say, would you rather have Charlotte break it?
Well, from the women's side, Charlotte will break it. I think there's no doubt about that. But I hope we don't have last year like we had last year with the montage of stars coming in during the match to swing the tide one way to the other, with Undertaker making an appearance and Rock making an appearance, and I can picture a moment where Ric Flair pops up and does something, but I don't want to see that either. So it's best for business, I think, if John Cena wins, and then we have to thwart evil Cena.
Yep. This one I've been going back and forth, because like you said, Cody getting the torch passed to him makes a lot of sense, but I don't think you do the heel turn for John Cena. If that was the case, and I love me some Cody. I got all the Cody gear. I got the Cody shirt on. I got the Cody jacket on. I am all in on Cody. I have sold my soul, Greg.
What?
It is going to be John Cena winning tonight. And because, like you said, there's something there. There's Seth Rollins element there. There's the Rock element we haven't seen yet. Out of sight, out of mind. I mean, it would be crazy to have two heel finishes, essentially, at WrestleMania. But I don't think you turn John Cena heel if you don't want him to break the record, and if you don't want him to kind of do something the next month or so as a heel champion, Greg. So I'm going to pull the trigger, and
wow.
yeah, I pulled the first
Wow.
Stephen A. heel turn. Got my
So
John
with
Cena
the gear on, I was like, I know where he's going. Wow.
Swerve Central. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I think, I do think Cena's going to try to pull out some wrestling because I think he wants to, that's been mentioned in this feud. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think tonight should be a good night, just like last night was, and we'll enjoy the day of wrestling and all that good stuff. Anything for the good of the matter before we head off here, Greg?
Yeah, I mean that's big headlines tomorrow. Cena wins championship.
17.
So it breaks the record. So that's big headlines. That's going to be big all over the globe.
Yeah.
Because Cena is pop culture icon now, not just an ex wrestler. So he is on Rock's level. But yeah, it's going to be huge. I can't wait to see it. I have no doubt that this match is going to be the best match of both nights. I'm going to put my money right there and state that for the record.
Yeah.
And if it ends up being anything but, I'm going to be disappointed. But these two, of all people, will be able to deliver the best match of the weekend. I have no doubt about that.
I guess it'll be interesting to see how Cena treats it too in a heel man, because he's going to have to do all the media stuff.
Sure.
So I wonder how does that play out. And that could be a reason why maybe you have Cody win. So I really think this could. I just don't know which way it's going to go. But the Seth Rollins intrigue is there. The Rock intrigue is there. Like you said, I don't think we need all the ancillary characters. We do need The Rock there tonight, right?
Yeah. You come out, him and Rock, arms up at the top of the ramp.
Yeah.
As we sign off, I think that's the last picture we see, and then all the headlines, the internet blows up. All that's going to happen. And what a quick shout out to Triple H and crew for acquiring AAA. AAA is the WWE of Mexico as far as international luchadors.
They put on their own Triple Mania.
Exactly. And I think it's a huge move. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. And you know me, I say Rey Fenix is the greatest luchador on the planet today. I'll also say Vikingo is number 2 on my list for greatest luchador. So I don't know if you saw his AEW matches, but holy crap, that dude, he is a one-of-one. Yeah, but he can do all the things. I think Ray versus Vikingo would be a dream match. And people who have not seen him wrestle yet are going to be blown away. So it's a huge move. I don't know who else is down there in AAA, but I know everybody who's anybody goes through AAA at some point.
Alberto. They might keep that Alberto.
We can leave him in Mexico.
We might need to cut the ties there. That might be a cut the fat there. So I did see people running
burning
with that.
Up bridges.
He has torch bridges, and he's had some stuff outside the ring, Greg, that they definitely do not want to touch with the 10-foot pole. So I'm looking forward to tonight, though, and I think it's going to be a good day. Enjoy the Easter. Enjoy your time with family, for a little bit, and then go enjoy wrestling tonight. Like I said, I think either way we could have some really interesting headlines. Because if you have Cody win, you got Seth Rollins as the big headline of the weekend. If you have Cena win, you got Cena. So, we'll end it there, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.